In this video, we'll hack the Vulnhub virtual machine Backdoored. Vulnhub is a website where we can download vulnerable Linux systems to then compromise them using various hacking techniques with the goal of gaining access, achieving full remote control over the system. These are the same techniques that hackers use to break illegally into systems, steal information or money, damage systems, or carry out espionage, just like you see in the movies. These techniques, for those new to the subject, are used by ethical hackers or white hats in the field of cybersecurity to test how secure systems are, so that they can inform clients about mitigation techniques to address potential vulnerabilities in their infrastructure, so that they can fix them. Cue the intro.
FBI, open up!
Let's start Kali and let's start Backdoored. To install Kali and virtual machines in general, I made a video. If you need to fix the network issue on this virtual machine, Backdoored, when using VirtualBox or UTM on Mac instead of VMware, I made another video. Check the cards. Let's find the machine's IP on the local network on Kali. It's Kali. Start up a terminal, sudo net discover, Ctrl C. Remember that both machines have to be set on bridged so that they can communicate. The IP should be 116 by process of elimination, because Vulnhub machines usually start with PCS system technique GmbH. So, what services are available on the machine? This is always the first step. We'll use nmap to see which are exposed and reachable. We need an initial entry point. So, sudo nmap t5. What is nmap and how do you use it? I've made another video on nmap. This is why I cover all the basics. So if you're missing some knowledge, you can find it on the channel. T5. This is a timing template of 5, which is very aggressive. It speeds things up since we are on a local network and there's no risk of performing a denial of service. -A enables default scripts, trace route, and operating system detection. -SS is faster because it doesn't complete the full TCP three-way handshake, and -P- scans all ports, all of them. Enter to start it. What? Never seen this. We found just one server on port 1337. Let's visit it. Ctrl U. There's nothing hidden here. But it says that the flags are under these two folders. We'll get there eventually. Let's do some directory busting on the web server. Again, from Wfuzz. Directory busting means finding folders and files on the server that are not immediately linked, for which there are no hyperlinks on any of the pages of the website. When you visit a web page, you can click links that are present on the pages, but if a page or file is not indexed, it will not be obvious what files or folders are on the server. So we use a word list of common file names to test hundreds or thousands of them per minute automatically. There are GUI tools for this as well as terminal-based ones. Dirbuster is the most user-friendly. Dirbuster. Already installed on Linux, on Kali Linux. Okay, let's populate its fields. The IP address, the port. This is fine. browse. We'll use a word list, one of the most commonly used ones. User share word list, dirbuster, directory list lowercase medium. Don't force files, don't brute force files, don't be recursive or it'll take forever. Just brute force the directories. And then click on start. It says it'll take 8 minutes, but I already know because I can predict the future that it will not find anything. So let's click on stop. So for terminal-based tools instead, we have Wfuzz. This can be much faster than tools like Dirbuster. We have Wfuzz, FFUF, Dirb, Goldbuster. Wfuzz is one of the fastest I've ever tested. It's a long discussion hub. Each tool has pros and cons. Let's see if it's installed. Okay, well, it's not an SSL site, so I don't think we'll have problems. Wfuzz, U. So the U flag, I always make a mistake. I always do. So the U flag defines the point of insertion with the fuzz keyword. We give it the URL, the word list with -w, then HC stands for hide content. So all of those requests that return 301, 302 redirects, or 403, 404 forbidden or not found will be ignored by the program. And T is for threads, so that it will be a little faster. See how fast it is? It found some bogus stuff. I should have removed these lines from the file, but oh well, doesn't matter. And as you see, it only returns 200 responses. So when it finds anything, it returns it in the output and ignores everything else that you see here. Also remember the slash after fuzz, or it might not find the folders. Yeah, every tool has its own idiosyncrasies. No tool is ever perfect. But it's always faster to use them than to develop your own. These tools are very, very complicated. And it's done. See how faster it was when compared to Dirbuster? It only took 105 seconds. But it didn't find anything. Let's try with a different list. A list. Wfuzz is much faster than Dirbuster, so it will not be too painful to try with different word lists. So we can install the very useful seclists. Please tell me I've already installed them. I haven't. These used to be available only via download as a GitHub repo many years ago, but they finally made it into the official Kali repos. Nice. Okay, it's done. Let's try again with one of the seclists, word lists. Let's just change something here. We don't want to write. We don't want to type it again now. Do we? Where was it? It's in user share seclists discovery web content raft large directories lowercase. Nice. Let's make it faster. 500. Let's go crazy. Let's go bananas. It'll take a couple of minutes max. Look at him go. So fast. I love it. Ooh. What do we have here? So it found with admin. Let's not wait any further. With admin. And what do we have here? A web shell that doesn't work. Nice. Okay, now it works. Who am I? Bob. Now you see why I always say that reconnaissance is the most important phase in penetration testing. If we hadn't been persistent, we wouldn't have found it, and we wouldn't been able to get in, as we'll do soon. We're now in Bob's context. We have a foothold into the machine. Well, let's try to get a foothold into the machine. Let's start a... it took less than a minute. Let's start a reverse netcat shell. What IP do we have? It should be up here. No. No, it only happens when you're connected to a VPN network. Host name 112. Let's try and make it easy for ourselves. And we're in. However, this shell will not be interactive, so we'll use Python 3 on the system so that we can access the other services from the terminal if needed. Python 3 import pty pty.spawn bin bash. No, you don't need this. We navigate the system a bit and find the flag in well, he actually told us. Home user. Bob. We find it here. They're called flags because there are hacker competitions, capture the flag competitions, also known as CTFs, where the first hacker team to grab the flag scores points, just like in Quake 3 Arena. God, I'm getting old. They're also used in all penetration testing labs, like in on TryHackMe and Hack the Box, some of the most well-known, as well as OSCP lab machines. For Backdoored, if you want to go deeper into manual penetration testing, there's my InfoSec bundle on Teachable, where you'll find everything you need to become a tactical assault cyber beast. The link is in the description. But now let's move on to privilege escalation from Bob to root. Privilege escalation is about gaining higher privileges. We'll go from Bob to root. In this video, we'll limit ourselves to showing the contents of the root flag and wrap up, because it says we cannot escalate to root actually on this machine. Remember when we did the first nmap scan? Back then, the attack surface was just the server, which we visited. Then it was extended by the web interface. Now that we're Bob, we have access to the system within its privileged context. We have to learn what it can do on the system. There are many Linux commands we can use, like find to search manually for kernel vulnerabilities, other users' passwords, or for example, the password for a database or executables with incorrect permissions. Linpeas is a script that automates these checks. There's also a Windows version called Linpeas. Linpeas is relatively new. Before that, we used to use the Linux priv checker, but now it's too old. It's slow today. I'm downloading Cyberpunk 2077 again because I want to have a netrunner build this time. I don't even want them to see me when I'm coming. It's gonna be cool. So cool. The releases page should be this one, linpeas.sh. No. No. Copy the link. Let's move to the desktop. Then wget, Ctrl-Shift-V. But I hear you say, why didn't you just download it on the backdoor machine? Well, most of the times the machines are built in such a way that you cannot download files directly from the internet. I mean, sometimes it might work, but it basically never did, so I never do it. It's much faster and efficient to just serve it with Python with a simple server on your local machine. 112. Let's go to TMP. It's likely that we'll be able to download the file, and then wget from Kali on port 3000 linpeas.sh. We saved it. chmod linpeas.sh, and then you execute it. Always be on the lookout for the red and yellow ones that are likely a privilege escalation vector, but on these machines, they're usually, most of them are usually false positives, because there usually is only one way to hack them. Okay, now you wait for 500 years until it finishes. I need another coffee. You know what? I think I'll do something crazy today. I'll order Burger King. Yeah. I'm Italian, but I really love Burger King. I really love Burger King. You know, they told me many times, well, you know that if you prepared these burgers with bacon by yourself, that will be much healthier. The only time I did, I felt ill. I don't know why. Maybe too much mayo, but the way that the Burger King dudes do it, it's just perfect. Plus, I only eat it once a month, so I know saturated fats and sugar, blah blah blah, but it's once a month. Get off my back. So we go back and painstakingly take a look at everything here. Look at all the red things. And after having painstakingly taken a look at everything here, okay, let's be patient here and read everything. I know what the privilege attack vector is, but I need to find it so that I can show you. System bus, syslog, weak permission, private, dbus. The interface, which is the one we fixed in the previous video. Now it's the correct one. We see the users, Bob, there's only Bob. Useful software, it's Python 2.7, 3.7. Files with capabilities, user bin TAC. This is interesting. So this program writes each file to standard output, last line first. And as you see, the permissions are all wrong. So root can read, write, and execute. The root group can execute and read. And everyone else can execute it. So maybe we can read all the files that belong to root with this program, even if we have a lesser privileged user. So user bin cat root, because we read from here that this was the file path. What the hell am I doing? And we find the root flag. But how would I have figured out to use stack like this? Everything that you get out of linpeas needs to be analyzed carefully. You see what version it is. You take a look on the internet if there are vulnerable versions of that program. You try it out, you fiddle with it and see if it takes you anywhere. As days, months, and years go by, you'll see that attack vectors tend to be always the same. But this will be your mental database. It will grow over time. And the broader it is, the closer you'll be to the movie hacker stereotype who breaks into a system within minutes. Hopefully. Because in real life, it can take days or weeks, depending on your skill level. And by skill level, I just mean how much shit you've been through. And so we hacked our first Vulnhub machine. Try downloading more, starting with easy ones. On Vulnhub, you also find write-ups, which are basically solutions to the machines. No shame in reading solutions, because you learn faster. Trying to break in from scratch with no outside help can be more rewarding. How much time do you have on your hands? Still, it's best to get a comprehensive overview first by reading the Wfuzz testing guidebook for a thorough methodology on how the web penetration testing engagements are supposed to be conducted professionally, and the penetration testing execution standard for penetration tests in general. Thanks for watching. See you very soon. Ciao.